A controversial decision was made yesterday by a judge who granted a 50-year-old mother of three the right to end her own life. Now, she's refusing to undergo further treatment for kidney failure and wants to die because she fears being poor, ugly and old. Those are her reasons. When I saw this, Janet, I just felt really sad that a woman could be so defined by how she looks and so fearful of growing old that she actually doesn't want to live anymore. That was my first reaction.
It's an extraordinary case, especially as she has daughters and even a grandchild. So it is a decision that most people would find absolutely incredible because she hasn't got a terminal illness, and with treatment, doctors say she'll make a full recovery. As it is, without kidney dialysis, she will now die within 10 days. And the doctors at the hospital went to court to establish that she wasn't of sound mind, that that she should not be allowed to refuse the treatment. But the judge has ruled in her favour. So he's created a precedent, really. And he has now, in my opinion, placed a real burden on her doctors because they're going to withdraw her dialysis and she will die. And of course, if you go on from that to look at assisted dying, although this isn't assisted suicide or dying, doctors have said very firmly that they don't believe in assisted suicide and helping people to die.
But this wouldn't be, would it? Because I think they were saying she's not in sound mind to make that decision for herself. However,
but the court has ruled that she has.
Is saying, no, she is of sound mind and this is her choice. So they're not they won't be helping her to die. She's just saying, thank you very much, don't want your treatment.
Correct.
Not happy to live anymore because I don't want to get old and ugly, and she's already refused treatment before she had cancer.
It's a very sad state to be in. To think you've got nothing worth living for. And in my opinion, I agree with the judge. She should just step aside, go to the bottom of the waiting list, because there are people on the waiting list that are desperate to want to live for themselves and their family, and let the doctors look after them.
I think the saddest part of all of this is the fact that she has 3 children. So for them to hear, my mum's more concerned about getting old and ugly and not having money.
But apparently the children...
Her daughters have described her as an entirely reluctant and at times completely indifferent mother. And in fact, when one of them told her that she was pregnant, expecting her first child, her mother said, "Oh no, I'm really cross about that. That's going to put me well past my sell-by date."
So that sounds like they're used to their mother being that way, doesn't it?
Doesn't this decision by the judge say something to all the people who will be watching this programme who are terminally ill, who want to end their life? Just as this woman wants to end her life. They have terminally ill, though, and want to end their lives and been denied the right to do so under British law. And this was discussed in Parliament only last September. There was the Assisted Dying Bill, which sought to give doctors the permission to assist people who were terminally ill to end their lives in certain circumstances. And even though the public at large are in favour of that, in Parliament it was turned down by about 300 and something to 100 and something. So it
was highly, the public opinion at that time, the polls, which was 82%, I think, were in favour of that. And it was turned down by the politicians.
Of course, abroad, quite a lot of countries now have legalised assisted dying in certain circumstances. Switzerland, Belgium, Holland, Luxembourg and some American states have all legalised it. And there was a shocking case in Belgium recently of a healthy woman who was allowed euthanasia because she had suicidal thoughts and there was nothing wrong with her. And she was healthy, so you can see all the problems.
Is it her right? She's just saying, look, I know you've got all this treatment that could keep me alive. I don't want to be alive, thank you. Thanks very much.
I think it's everybody's right to choose whether they want to live or die. My only worry with it is I have close friends and family who have suffered, for instance, with cancer, who halfway through the treatment have been ill because of the treatment and gone, do you know what, I think I'd rather die than have this treatment. So as a family member then, and I'm sure they would have at the time signed a form, but actually, 2 months after the treatment, when they're feeling great again, they're just so happy to be alive.
That's right.
And it's knowing that you know, I think everyone at some point of their life, whatever they go through, whatever trauma, there are times when you think,
but she isn't. It's not like
Yeah.
It's not like she's saying, "I'm halfway through this treatment." 'Cause she's, you know, she was offered treatment for cancer before as well. She's not halfway through and saying, "I can't cope with this. Please let me go." She's just saying, "I don't want it. Thanks. You know what? Really nice of you to offer. Don't want it. Don't want to be here. I don't want to get old and ugly." I mean,
To be honest, that's her right, but I think she's an incredibly selfish woman.
Well, we've got some really
think
interesting
she's
comments. I agree with Pauline, she's selfish, but I think she's behaved. What she's played, the position she's placed the doctors in is disgusting, actually, because doctors don't want to end life like that. And Heather says, "I'm a retired nurse, and I believe that everyone should have the freedom to choose whether to have treatment or not." Of course, the Royal College of Nursing is more ambivalent about this than doctors. Rob says, "You should only be allowed to die if you're in real pain and have a terminal illness." And Charlotte says, "If people want to end their life, they will find a way to do so, whether the judge says they can or not."
Well, exactly.